Folks, welcome to a simple website builder for guides who don't build websites. My name is John Morrison, and I'm really excited to guide you through the next 45 minutes because I think what's going to happen is that you could really get inspired by learning about how you can build websites. Even if you don't have a single bit of coding experience, if you never built a website before, I want to give you some hope that you could earn thousands of dollars just by building websites for your clients. So this is an exciting thing. I'm excited for the group of guides that have joined us together from all around the world, even. But wherever you are, if you're sitting there in your pajamas or if you're in your office or something, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. Let me just give you a hello. This is me here. I'm in my home studio here in Vancouver, British Columbia. And I just really want to share something with you that I've been excited about for the past few weeks, something that I've been using in my business and excited to use it more now that this platform is actually live. And so as we built it, we thought we should open this up to all StoryBrand guides and any fans of StoryBrand, the book, or Building a StoryBrand, the book, which you can see just, over my shoulder there. I always keep it pretty close. Don't usually go too far without carrying the book around. So anyways, let's get to the presentation because I'm excited to roll this out for you. So the problem that I've noticed is that many guides, and I've coached guides, onboarded them, and I've helped them along. And many of my friends are guides, and I myself have been a guide since 2017. But many of the guides are losing revenue because they're not offering websites to their clients. I mean, you know this struggle, right? That's why you're on the webinar, because you've seen what happens. You get a client, and then you do the brand script for them, and you kind of help them out, maybe create a brand messaging guide, and then you create a wireframe for them. But then all of a sudden you have to watch as the thousands of dollars that are left when it comes time to actually build out that wireframe that you've carefully made, you give those thousands of dollars to some other marketing agency or to some other guide or whoever it may be that you use. But that's money that could be put in your pocket. I had to learn the hard way about how to build websites because I saw there was a tremendous potential for earning revenue, but the best I could probably do is operate a Facebook profile and run a blog. And so it's kind of hard to offer like the StoryBrand caliber of websites that we want to offer to people when you just can run a blog and a Facebook page, and kind of learning LinkedIn a little bit as well. So my story is that I came out of the church world. So I was a pastor for many years, and then read Building a StoryBrand. Donald Miller was one of my favorite authors. I had a chance to meet with him over a few years. But when I got a chance to spend a week with him and the team, that was just awesome. But I came out of there wide-eyed, realizing, oh my goodness, I've got 2 kids to feed and my wife and my mortgage. And so I got to build a career out of this. And I couldn't just do it selling brand scripts. So I was quite hungry to learn. I knew I wanted to be able to build websites and offer them to clients. I just didn't know how to do it. And so I just tried. I mean, why not? Why not just build people and then learn as you go? Because the first one you do, right, you're kind of fumbling around. But then the second and third you do, well, you're kind of an expert. Except sometimes you get exposed for not being an expert. And that was my struggle, because there was times, as we all know, when the computers and servers and DNS records and everything could easily crash. And so I have my share of scars from that happening. So let me tell you a little bit about my struggle, and maybe this will be therapy to some of you, because it may be your struggle as well. But not knowing what theme to use was a big one, right? If I see on debates all the time, I'm the admin of a group called, we used to call it StoryBrand Your Business. Anyways, we talk about what is the best theme to use in StoryBrand. And it's interesting because no one really agrees on what to use, because there's not a real customized one, right? There's Bedford for Squarespace, and there's some Divi themes that work out there. Shopify is, it works, but you can tell that nobody is really, there's no consensus on what kind of a template to use. And so you always got to kind of make some compromises. And then the other thing that would happen is once you kind of, had it, you felt like you had a good thing. Sometimes you get stuck in that you want to build something, but you don't necessarily know how to do it. And so, I mean, even if you just start on your first site, you have your wireframe and it's all there, but you're not sure, like, how do I actually get this from the concept onto an actual website? And you get stuck. And sometimes the getting stuck stage is like places you don't really know, like, oh, I got to do a tablet view for this website, or I have to optimize it for mobile, or there's other just different things that can happen where all of a sudden you're like, I don't know who to turn to. Like it's 2 in the morning and I've got to deliver this to my client soon, and I don't know what to do. So getting stuck is a big thing, right? Because when you're dealing with complex things like, well, coding and other things like DNS records, that you can easily get stuck. So that was my problem as well. And I just put WordPress. I mean, WordPress was just a constant source of stress for me. All the plugins and different things that go along with WordPress. WordPress is kind of like what I say when I stub my toe, right? It's kind of like that alternative swear that I've kind of adapted. And so the ability to not have to work with WordPress anymore is very appealing to me, probably to you. This is the thing that would happen is the one time a site just wouldn't work and I just wouldn't know what to do, wouldn't know who to turn to. Maybe go to Squarespace or try to find some help from WordPress.com. And what do? You get either a chat bot or you get a YouTube tutorial or you get some conversation that happened in a forum in like 2008. And things have changed considerably since then. So that didn't help all that much. And so what do you do when you blow up a site? I mean, you're supposed to be the expert. And then launching new sites was always stressful. Around the Morrison home, when it was time to launch a new site, my wife knew just to give me lots of space and probably don't expect, me to be too courteous and calm, maybe sometimes yelling coming from the office or whatever, because launching new sites when you're dealing with other people's live websites and complex C names and A records, it gets a little complex and things go wrong often. So these were my struggles. And so I didn't necessarily know what to do, but thankfully, I'll introduce in a moment, my brother is a web designer who graduated at the top of his class at a technical school out here in British Columbia. And I called him often for all these, but I realized that not all of you have a brother who you can contact. And so I still want to have you or give you the opportunity to create amazing websites. But what if there was a service that could offer you all the helps that you would need to do websites? And when you got stuck or when you had a problem or an issue, or you needed to even just to launch a site and you didn't want to touch the DNS records, imagine if there was a service that could do it all for you. Well, that's what we're going to get to in a moment. Here's a few things that I've learned in the process of building websites, and I'll just fly through this. But I did want to add some value to you because you're spending time on the call, so I could tell you about the 3 things that I've learned about how to make great websites. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity to tell a client that, you know what, if you're buried on page 3 of Google, I totally understand how frustrating that is to know you have a great practice or a great business, and yet you're being hidden. No one's ever going to find you there. We can get you to page 1. And that's what I do with clients. It's a little bit of SEO, as we'll see, but it's also a little bit of the story brand framework at work and some beautiful design. And so this is what we know about websites. This is what I've learned in the 3 years or 2.5 years I've been doing it. First one is this: people make judgments about your business based on the overall design. And you know this too, right? You've been to a site and it looks like it was designed when sites first came out, right? In the days of dial-up, this site came out. So it's just all purely coded, no no theme, 5 different fonts on one screen, 18 different colors, and it's just a dog's breakfast. What are you going to do? You're going to say, well, this isn't all that interesting to me. This doesn't appeal to me. And you judge a website by its cover. You judge a website by its design. Just like we judge people by the clothes they wear, we judge books by their covers. We just do it. It's just who we are. So people make judgments about design, and so I think you need to really do a good job of making sites with beautiful design, and so that's a huge part of it. Secondly, Google rewards those who have websites that people like. Google is actually tracking how long people are on your site, how long they're engaging with your material. Are they watching videos? Are they spending time scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the page? Are they clicking around through your content? And so as the design's good, if the message is clear, Google will boost you higher to the top, right? This is like on page SEO stuff, but there's also some backend stuff that you could do too. That's also strategic. And so a good website today has to be, thinking about SEO, what's Google's using, what's Google rewarding, and playing by Google's rules. And so a website today, if you're going to build a website, you got to have a strong SEO so you can get your clients to the top of Google when someone's searching. I think that's so important because you can have a beautiful site. If it just sits there, your client's not going to be happy if it's buried down into page 2 or 3. Thirdly, and this is where story brand people will cheer, get excited. A clear message is the key to converting browsers into buyers? Of course it is, because words are what compel us to move. So we have the gift as story brand guides of learning about how to put great words on a site. But if you just have a site full of words, we all know that that's not enough, right? So you need to have the three combined. So your site needs this beautiful design. I just think it's essential in today's world to have a clear color palette that you use, fonts that you are your go-to, beautiful pictures, and all laid out well. Secondly, you have to have great SEO, as we talked about, so that you can get to the rank high in Google. And what I mean by that is, of course, great content. Google really focuses on if it's mobile optimized, because so much traffic is coming through our phones now. And so Google understands that. They want to give people a good user experience. So they're going to boost the best sites that have the best mobile experience to the top. If it's fast loading, that's also important too. So you gotta be quick with that, not big, huge, laborious pictures. You gotta have fast servers. Upload time is important, because if you're more than 2 or 3 seconds getting your first images and words up there, people will get bored. They'll bounce to another site. So Google notices that as well. Of course, keywords and page titles and meta descriptions. This is getting a bit into the weeds, but certainly I wanted to just flesh out what I meant by great SEO. And thirdly, you got to have a clear message. So how do you combine all three of these? Well, you got to have all three, and it makes a beautiful Venn diagram. And you understand what Venn diagrams are, right? Where you take diagrams and you take circles and you put them together, you have a Venn diagram. So if you have great design and search engine optimized and a clear message, it's going to work. But if you take out that clear message, you know what's going to happen, right? If you confuse, then you lose. So you got to have a clear message. That's where having a story brand guide comes in. And it's so helpful for our clients, that we can say, look, you don't want to confuse people, because if you confuse them, they're not going to understand what to do, and they're going to bounce and go find a competitor that they can understand quicker. What happens if you have a clear message and you got great SEO, but you have a poor design? Well, you're going to face people's judgment. They're going to make character assumptions about you or your business. And so we don't want that to happen, right? And with guides too, right? We know we need to have great design sites for our own personal pages, because people are looking at other guides and they're saying, well, if this person can't even have good design, if it doesn't look clean, it doesn't look nice, then they'll find some other guide. So you need to have great design as well, or else people will judge you. And thirdly, if you have beautiful design and a clear message, but you're not using these SEO principles, and it's, people are bouncing off your site, or they're not even coming as well because you're not taking advantage of page titles and keywords and meta descriptions and tags and stuff like that. If you're not using those, then your site will just sit there all lonely. It's like a gal who gets all dressed up on a Friday night and she's ready for a date, but the phone never rings, and she just sits there, watching This Is Us all night, right? And it's sad. It's very sad. I mean, it happens to guys too. We just don't wear dresses as much. All right, you want to have all three, and that's what I believe is the sweet spot. If you can have this, you could have a super site, great design, SEO optimized or search engine optimized, and a clear message. These are the kind of sites that we want to be creating in the story brand world, because they are proven to work well. And that's what I'm excited to announce today, is this idea of a super site that has all these three components and that you can actually build them. So I want to give you the power. I mean, we always knew that there should be a tool like this that existed on the internet, right? We've always known that it would be so nice if we could have the power to the people in building beautiful websites. So let me show you this site now, because I think we're finally at the point where we can say, okay, let's just see it. So here it is. This is what we've created. We call it Get Clear Sites. And it's I mean, I know there's different ways to apply StoryBrand. This is the way I've been doing it with my clients, and like I said, it's been working. It's been engaging with people. It's been getting them tons of leads, getting them to the top of Google. And so what I did was I just made it into a website. Now here's the story with this, and this is what I think will surprise you. My brother is a web designer, and he's been doing this with churches for a long time, because churches have high needs but low budgets. And that's difficult. So what he realized was he could make templates for his church clients and make it so easy that a secretary could run it. And I said, Matt, could we take an idea of what you did for churches and apply it to the StoryBrand community, where people with as much online prowess as a 65-year-old church secretary that could compete and with Aunt Betty, you know, and as far as like knowledge for knowledge, if they could compete with Aunt Betty and then all of a sudden be able to, by the way, can you see? Oh, sorry guys, I didn't have, there we go. Here's it for you. All right. Can everybody see this now? Just tell me in the chat if you're tracking along here. If you can compete with Aunt Betty, you know, then you can do this. I believe in you. So what we're going to do, I still don't see making sure everybody's on board with me here. Can you see it okay? All right. What we're going to do is we're going to start making some edits here. What I want to do is I want to show you how some of this works. All right. So let's say you have a tagline here. And you had done a brand script or a brand messaging guide and you offered something to them. One of the things that you can do now is actually change your company's tagline. So we could say something like, take this from your brand script. And then all of a sudden, it's going to save it and it's going to show up right there for you. So there you go. See, that's how easy it was to change it. All right. Secondly, let's do something else. Now we go to the next section. Okay, so there's a problem that exists in the world today. This is where I like to hook people in and say, you know, that this company exists because there's a problem in the world. If you're in the story brand world, you're very familiar with the line is that most marketing is a complete waste of time. So we're going to take that and we're going to say, we're just going to put it right here. Oops. I don't like when people are staring over my shoulder. You know, it's hard to type when you're on a live webinar. Today is a waste of, oh my goodness. There we go. And then we'll just save that. And I can, of course, add the text. Look, if you can do a Word doc, Aunt Betty can do a Word doc. If you can do it too, then you can make changes in this. Where did I lose that? There it is. Most marketing today is a waste of time. Now, let's say you're like, you know what? These people look too happy and I'm talking about a problem. I'd like to actually change that background image here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to background and I'm going to change the file here. And I'm going to get this guy who's just totally stressed. Look at it. He's stressed. Poor guy. He's doing marketing and it's just not working. Maybe he's in the guide community and it's just like, man, this is not, I don't know how I got into websites, but the good news is he'll figure it out. Okay. And I think I want to make him a little more easy to see. No, I'm actually going to make him a little more difficult to see. And I want to focus attention on this. So I'm going to make it bigger so that people are scrolling, they can't help but read it. So here we have a beautiful picture in the background there. And of course, if you want no picture, all you got to do is just hit the button that says remove background. All right, so here's some benefits. We love the benefits. We don't talk about features. We talk about how it benefits the hero. And so I want to change this benefit to how we help hero. Of course, you wouldn't actually put that. You'd put something else, the actual benefit, but there it is. And of course, I can change the microphone if I want. But look, the change is right there and it's all there in real time. I could do that with all three of these. And of course, with here, if I want to change anything like the height or the opacity, or if I want to change the color, I can change the color on that. And if I want to make it black or darker, at least, if I want to make it white, I can make it white. And as we saw, I can put a background image as well. All right, this is what Don calls the explanatory paragraph. It's just kind of where you start introducing your company with just a few sentences about what you do. And so, yeah, you want to put that there. And then, of course, here's some people hanging around the computer. So if I want to change them, it's just going to take a second. I want to add a new image. Let's put these guys in there. I want to get rid of that one. Going to save. So as you can see, it's just really easy to make changes. All right. So now you say, oh, that looks pretty good. However, I'd like to have all the content on one page. Well, all of a sudden, I'm sorry, on the same side. So you just hit edit block and then you go to layouts and see how we're using number 2 here. We actually switch over to number 1 and it just takes all the content and it's just going to flip it over. So there you go. And again, if you want to put an image in the background here, if you want to change this up, it's totally fine. Here's where you can put all the corporate kind of social proof that you have, a place for testimonials. Very easy to change it. Again, we just hit edit there. And so this is, again, establishing you or your brand as the guide. Why should people trust you? Because you have all these happy people. And then we end with the failure bucket in here. Don't let something bad happen. Again, we can easily make changes to this if we want using the slider. All right. So now you're like, well, this is good for if your company is, a Vancouver Canucks fan and for hockey. But what if you have like a red theme in it? So then you could actually go to design, change up the design. It's going to take you to this place where you can select colors. And then you pick your color pattern. So let's just say you want a little bit of this black, red, and grayishy blue. Then I hit save colors and watch what it'll do to the whole site. It just makes it all nice and with the new theme. So you don't have to do any of the manually going through every single button or whatnot. It's all just there, switched over into the colors that you want. You can customize the colors if you want as well. And let's say you don't like the font. You want to change up the fonts too. Well, we have different pairings. This is great, right? Because sometimes you pick a pairing and you realize, oh, this isn't actually, these don't work all that well together. But this is one way to do it. So if there's a font you want, you just contact our team and we will get it to you. But look, I just hit one button and now the entire site has almost a luxury feel. Now it's totally transformed. And I didn't have to do anything other than click one button. So that's how you can kind of work the design. And of course, every page has its own feel to it. And so I should probably say, for the sake of transparency, we don't have Donna Paulson from Suits as our administrator, but it certainly would be a lot of fun to have that because she is darn good. And we would not make any of the administrative blunders and have our team so organized if we could have Donna working for us, but we don't. So things like blogs, you can easily add. I just wrote 3 little dummy blogs here. If you want to make a new blog, you just hit quick add, and then you can hit a blog post here. And again, if you could do a word processor, then you could make a new blog. So I could even do this, a new blog here, subtitle, author. I'll author this one, and then I'll say this is. So what's going to happen now? I'll put an image on it. And then I'll save it. Oh, and tags too. You can put, this will be very helpful for SEO stuff, which I think is quite important. And then if you don't actually want to have it right away, I guess I should have done more content, but it kind of looks like a lame blog. But obviously you'd have more content, but look at where it's going to show up now. It's going to be great because you will see it show up right in here. So it'll just show up in anywhere you have your blog feed. And again, I don't really like this gray, so I'm going to make it darker. But that's the kind of the thing that just works so well. This is why we call it easy. So maybe your client has a podcast. You just quickly add a podcast, upload the file, the audio file. You can add a video as well if you'd like. And so all these different options are there for you to use with just a couple of clicks. And I think you'll really appreciate it. One more thing that I want to show you is if you say, you know, I don't like I need another section here and we don't have it on the template. You watch what I've done. You just hit that little pencil and then you can find out whatever you need. What do you need? An event? Do you need a contact page? Do you need an image link or something like that? Text and media. Let's just use this for the sake of it because look, we can make videos right here. I'll just take a little video and there it is. And so we'll have a little video just featured on its own. If you want to ever put a video in the background, you can do that as well. So you could turn this into a video. You can turn this angry guy ready to punch the computer. You could turn that into a video. You could turn the whole thing like you just make the whole background a video. And so it really is quite good for you. And again, so many options for customization. Um, I saw that we had a question about calls to action. Yes, I can totally put those on. So here's one that we would put on, and then I'm actually just in the process of getting our own section of a builder. Sorry, like remember how you could see? Let me just show you actually. So add a block. I just have one coming as it's going to be button. So you'll have button here, then the whole section will just be a little button or a big button. I mean, you could customize the button, you customize the color. But great question, because that's another one that's coming. But look, you could have testimonials. I mean, there's just so many different things that we'll do, and it'll continue to grow. So like we're just launching this, and it's going to get better all the time. And so imagine if this was like the last site you had to build. So a lot of companies, they're they have to reinvest 5-10 grand in their sites all the time, and every 4 or 5 years that the technology totally changes, and so they have to reinvest in their site. But the good thing about this is that because we have a team always working on development, we can keep in track with all the different themes. And so you really just have to build them one site, or build for yourself. If you want this for your own personal guide page, you invest one time, and then you're in for the rest of your life, I guess, however long you want to be a guide for, or how long you want to have a site for. So that is a little bit about what we've been doing. I'm super excited about it, and I think that you will be too. The more you get to play around with it, the more you get to see just what can be done. And then if you have a special request, the good news is we have a team. So you don't get a chat bot, you don't get a YouTube tutorial. You actually get a team that you can say, I need this special thing, and then we will get to you right away. Just because I know that everybody needs custom options, and so you should get the kind of customization that you need or that your client needs. All right, so there's a lot of stuff there, but I want to just give you a demo of how easy it is. That's what gets me the most excited, is because I know that there are people, friends of mine in the guide community, that could do this. I mean, if you could make a wireframe on one of those computer programs, you can turn that wireframe and convert it into charging thousands of dollars more. So I want to show you now what it's going to cost, because obviously you're like, okay, so what's the catch? Well, here's what we're going to do. What you get with the Get Clear site is you get a customized theme for StoryBrand sites. We're just going to have one theme to start. But again, you saw how easy that is to customize. However, one of the other things that we're building is we're building a second StoryBrand theme site. And one of the things we might just do is go to the storybrand.com and just use that site. I don't know if that always works for companies that don't have the huge brand like Don does, because they need a little more text in it, and maybe they have a bit more complexity. So I built out the one that I use for my clients, which is the one you saw. But we might just use a template that's very similar to storybrand.com. Obviously not stepping on any legal toes, but with the same kind of feel, because a lot of our clients, they do like the StoryBrand feel. They're like, can we just use the StoryBrand theme? Well, we'll talk to Kula and make sure it's approved, but we'll have a couple of themes out there. So you get to pick which one would work best for you or your clients. And then of course you customize the whole thing. I thought about building starting from scratch, building an entire page, because I literally had to build that site in one morning, but it would probably take about 15-20 minutes to do it, and I didn't want to waste all of your time. Just believe me that you could start with a blank page and build it all out. If you've already got the words and some pictures, you can build that thing out in 10 or 15 minutes. It's just amazing. Maybe 20 if it's a little more complex, but it does not take long at all. So you get that. That's the beauty of the customized theme for StoryBrands. You're not reinventing the wheel. Squarespace doesn't allow you to do that. Doesn't allow you to make those kind of changes on, you have to start off with a fresh theme every single time, but not so with this one. Okay, simple to use platform. You saw that. You watched me kind of making these live updates as they were going, and it's just that easy to update them. Human tech support, so you actually can contact, there's a team of 3 that we have that we rely on, and they're just great. Always respond very quickly and very friendly. And then helpful updates. Like I said, you get those developers that we have that are constantly working on building the site. It's kind of like when you get an iPhone, you buy the phone, but then your iOS is constantly being updated. That's what we're going to be doing for you. So our introductory launch is $2,500 and then $50 a month for hosting, security, support, and development. We know that you're going to need support. We know you're going to need some hand holding in the beginning, but also there's these sunk costs that come into websites these days, like making sure it's HTTPS, so it's a secure site. So we have to have a subscription for that, and your clients will appreciate that too. If it says unsecure at the top of Google Chrome in the top left, people are not going to want that. They don't want to think that their site's unsecure. So we have to secure it for you. We do all that, and then all the new R&D that we're doing. I mean, that comes into the $50 a month. The good news is that because this is a launch and because this is our start, we're actually starting off at $2,000. So that means you could have a site for $2,000 and have it up within a couple of days from now, which is really exciting, right? And if you have a client that wants a site, I mean, if you talk to the guides on Slack and you see what they're charging, it's up to 10K, and that's even like a modest number. Sometimes you can get 8K, and sometimes, I mean, clients only have 5K, but we just have a policy where we just say, you know what, our policy is we don't even start a website for less than $5,000. But the good news is, as a guide, you come in at $2,000, you get the platform, you get the template, you get all that you need, and then all of a sudden, you can now charge your regular industry standard of $8,000, $10,000. To me, my friends, that is a ton of margin. Do you see why I was so excited to introduce this to the StoryBrand community? Because this is your opportunity to start making the kind of bank that you deserve, to get your investment back with only one website. So to me, I see that $2,000. I think, oh my goodness, we're going to allow guides, we're going to empower them to be able to do some amazing things now, that people that never could build a website before are now going to have the power to build them. And I'm so excited about that. Why? Because I literally care about our StoryBrand community, and I care about our guides. Like I said, having onboarded them and coaching them, I know that they can do more than just a brand script and a wireframe and maybe some emails. They can get the kind of margin that you get when you get a website, and then you get the constant retainers. This is the extra thing. Okay, so $50 a month. I do tons of websites for clients. We charge $75 a month for just hosting, security, and support. So what that means is you, as a guide, can charge your client whatever you'd like. I mean, you want to charge them $75, you could charge them $100 and basically say, you know, this is what you get me all the time whenever you need anything. And you don't tell them about how easy it is. You don't tell them how much you're paying. You just charge $50 a month. You charge them 75, you charge them 100, whatever it is that you feel you can, because everyone's gonna have different budgets. But the more you charge over the $100, or sorry, over the $50, you get all that. And then we have this new program, everything's new, I guess, but we have this, we have a partnership program. And the partnership program says, if you have 10 sites with us as a guide, then we're going to start sending you a check every single month. So even out of that $50 that your clients give, we're going to just send you a check for $7 a month. We've worked out the math. The best we can do is $7 a month. But you think about that. I mean, 7 times your 10 sites, you're getting $70 US a month. And so you'll actually have all of that just for you. So a couple of questions coming in. Is the $2,000 with the site that is built? It is built like with the template that you just saw, but you have to customize it to what you have. When it comes to hosting and GDPR, thank you for those questions. These are some of the technical things that we're going to be making sure. Like I said, everybody's going to have different needs. And so we do have hosting around the world, so we're okay. It's internal servers, and so you're going to be okay with that. We've never had them break. We have 600 clients right now, especially the churches that we service, and they are just over the moon excited because the server goes down maybe once in a flood for updates and necessary maintenance. So as far as other technical things, if you have more of them, I could connect you with my brother, who's the brains behind all this. He's the one that built it. He's the one that's running the over 600 clients now. And so I'm just happy to use it, to leverage his expertise. So yeah, $2,000. What you get is we'll give you the template and we'll help you out in the beginning. We'll teach you how to use the software. We'll make sure you take your wireframe, because literally you should have a wireframe, because that's what you're doing for clients, right? You take that wireframe you have and you just hit Command C, copy, and paste it right into the various sections. You can do it. You do not need me to do it. You don't need anyone else to do it because you can do it. And then when it's time to go live, you call us up and say, it's launch day. We're ready to go. We get into your account where you're hosting. We get into your DNS records so that you don't have to touch it, or your client's DNS records. You just get the username and password. We'll go in and launch the site for you so you don't have to worry about the headaches of dealing with GoDaddy or Hover or Cloudflare or whatever it may be, whoever you're hosting with. So this is totally good news for people like me who don't want to touch that kind of stuff, but it's just a necessary part of it. So I think this is going to make my marriage a lot happier, and because launch day will be much less stressful. All right, so these are some of the features. This is some of the benefits to you. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has inspired you as a guide to be able to offer something new to your clients. I mean, you could do this in a couple of ways. You can just point them to us, and then we can help build it for them. And then you could charge however much you want. Another thing that you could do is you could just white label with us, and it could be like you building the site for them. They don't know if you built it on WordPress or Squarespace or our platform. They don't really even care. They just know they have a beautiful website that works well, that people engage with, and that it's even easy for them to make blogs. If they want to make their own edits themselves, they can totally do that. So you can white label, or so we can white label. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you are able to get lots of new revenue, that you're able to serve happy clients, and that you have a revenue stream that is able to scale and to scale quickly. I mean, you could literally do it today. You get one. So here's your opportunity. If you're interested in this, please do. I think there's a schedule a call opportunity. Another option that you could do is just email me directly, just jon@getclear.ca, or you can direct message me in the Slack channel. I'm not that great at Slack. I know there's many of us that are like that. We just see, I mean, I just don't have enough time to engage on the Slack channel as much as I'd like, as much as I'd care to, because I mean, these are great people and great conversations. I just don't have time to do it. So I'll try to respond over Slack, but do email me, jon@getclear.ca, and I'd be very happy to talk more with you. All right. So thanks so much for your time. If there's any more questions, feel free to ask them now. But otherwise, I do thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to hopefully get inspired about what you could do. You could be a website builder, and it's not that hard anymore. The technology allows it. So thanks so much for your time. All right, quick question here from, I think it's Holger. Do you provide a trial? We don't have a trial option, though I would think that it should be possible. Again, this is a thing where because it's new, we can offer you a trial, or we could just jump on a live demonstration and you could kind of tell me what are some of the things that you want. But that's the kind of thing we could do if you just email me, and we'll set up a time and we could build out a site together. Because here's the truth: those of you who are listening to this, we really want you to succeed. We need you to succeed. Because when you succeed, then all of a sudden it makes us look good, right? You know that. That's how you serve your clients as well. So I want you guys to nail it, these first few sites that we're launching, because if you nail it, then the word will spread. Also, too, one of the things that if you've benefited from this, please just, even in the guide Slack channel, you're going to get a replay link, and if you could share that, or just encourage people that it was a great thing, and it's if there's some chatter about it, I would really appreciate that, because I really want other guides to be able to get this opportunity as well. All right, so thanks again, and have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from you. God bless.